Okay, so here we are in Photoshop, and just a reminder, when you want to make a freeform shape, you're going to click this tool here, and be sure the freeform shape tool is selected. And I should make a new layer by clicking down here, and here is our new shape. Okay, so remember, we need to rasterize this shape so that we can make changes to it. The way you rasterize, first of all, let's click back on our default tool, which is the arrow, and select Layer, Rasterize Layer. Notice over here in the Layers palette, it now changes to one shape. We may now transform this and alter this shape by using the quick key Command T. There are many things that you can do. Notice the arc, when I put it over the corner of the edge, I can turn and rotate this any way I want. I can go under the Edit menu and use Transform and select any of these. The fun one here is Warp, and by changing and moving these little dots, I'm warping my image any way I want. And hit return when you're finished. And notice now I can move this around. The other thing that you can do is you can use this selection tool and cut any part out of it if you want to change it. So here I am making a little cut. Notice that layer is selected. This is a selecting tool, and if I click Command C, Command X, notice that that part is cut. Okay, so now I've really changed it. Now if I want to make a mirror image, I can do Command T, and again go under the Edit tool, Transform, and I can flip this vertical. Okay, if I want to change this around, hit return. Now I want to duplicate this layer and make a mirror image on the other side, so I'm going to click Command J. Notice now Command J just duplicates the layer. There's two here. Now I am going to Command T and go under Transform and flip vertical, and notice now I have a mirror image, and I can set this up any way I want by moving this. Hit return. If you want to move something slightly, but not with your mouse or your stylus, you can use the arrow keys over on the lower right hand side of your keyboard to slightly move up or down. Now if I love this shape and I want to repeat this shape, I should probably merge the layers. It's the easiest thing to do. So merging layers, I want the top layer selected, and the underneath layer should be the layer that you want to merge with should be below. So then choose Command E, that merges the shape. Notice now this is one shape. I can now duplicate this shape so I can repeat it. So if I use Command T, Command J duplicates the layer. I now have two of them. Now notice the cool positive and negative spaces that this makes when I move this around. Okay, I can also, remember, change the proportion. If I want to keep the proportion but change the size, I can use Command T, hold the Shift key down, click that first, and then move the corner in slightly. This keeps the proportions but changes the size. Okay, so you can do that. And just by the way, if you want to change, and now I want to make a straight line through one of them, I want it to be a white line. Down here sets the foreground colors. If you click D, it goes to the default, which is black and white. And if I want to toggle the colors back and forth, I just click X. Notice how those change back and forth. So I want white on top now because I want to make a straight line. This is how you make a straight line. Let's use the brush tool. And if you look up in the upper right-hand corner of your keyboard, you'll notice parentheses. By using the open bracket, the right side bracket, that will make the brush bigger, and the left bracket will make it smaller. Also notice up here in your dialog box, you can change. Right now it's selected as a soft edge brush. For a line, I would encourage you to use a hard edge line, unless you want it to be a soft line. So I'm going to choose the hard edge circle, and I want it to be a little bit smaller, so again I'm using the left bracket. That's the quick key for making it small. So now what you want to do is click in a spot, move this over to where you want the line to end, and we can always transform this line after, and then hold shift and click. That makes a straight line. Go back to the arrow key, and now I can move this. Oops, notice what I did here. This was wrong. I should have put this on its own layer. So notice these two objects are moving around at the same time. The easy fix for that is to make a new layer, and I'm going to go back to this layer, and I'm going to select this shape. Basically, I'm cutting this out. Okay, so I'm going to Command X, go back up here, and now I'm going to, on the arrow key, now I'm going to Command V and paste that. So now this is on its own layer, and now the line is on its own layer. So now I can move this by itself. So if you want to change this line so it's diagonal, you can Command T and rotate this line, hit return, and move this anywhere you want. And again, if you want to create several lines, or you want to make, first, if you want to extend this line, again, Command T, hold shift down to keep the proportion, move this out, hit return, and now I want to duplicate this, so I'm going to Command J, now I have 3 lines, and I can put those wherever I want. And remember the quick key for selecting a layer. Once you have a bunch of layers, mouse over the layer that you want to choose and hit Command click. It'll automatically jump to that layer. And the last thing I want to show you is erasing. Here's your eraser tool. And once again, using the open and close brackets to make that brush size bigger or smaller is really helpful. This is the eraser tool here. So if I want to just get rid of part of this, again, the brush, you can use a soft edge brush or a hard edge brush, and you just simply make sure you're on the layer you want to be and just simply erase any part of this. Okay, last thing is saving. You want to make sure you save your Photoshop document, which will save this as a PSD, which stands for Photoshop document, which saves all of the layers. It is a large file size, but you want to save things like this as you're working. So save, title this whatever adjective you're working on, maybe scary. Notice the PSD extension, keep that. And if I were you, I would make a folder on your computer called graphic design, hit create, and notice notice the format here is Photoshop, which is what you want. Hit save and OK. If I ask you to save something as a JPEG, the way you do this is go File, Save As. You do not just type JPG here. That doesn't make it a JPEG. You need to go under this dialog box, Save as a JPEG. A JPEG is a smaller file size and it flattens the layers. Save. Okay, there you go. Notice that there is going to be a JPEG saved on your computer, but the PSD is the one that's still up here. And that is all for now. Enjoy and have a blast.